we're into the final session. We won't take very long, 15 minutes or so. We'll try and end it. So very quickly, we've got a bunch of people who've been taking notes. They'll summarize each session. Sabha, are you ready to do that? Chalo, you've done it. Session 1.
There is no debate and research on any subject or key issues like simplification. When it comes to research, the data is usually not shared by FBR. Then we keep on talking about the revenue side of the taxes. We should also look into the way those revenues are spent. The broker side of the government is financed by these taxes. We also need in-depth study of SROs. Then Dr. Ramullah mentioned that taxation is in isolation of constitution. There should be a national tax code. Broadly speaking, there are low rates, broad-based tax policy should be adopted, and simplified procedures should be encouraged. Dr. Athar mentioned that revenue should be a byproduct with growth as the primary objective. The basic objective of the tax policy should be to facilitate transactions. But we also came to know that there is a strong disagreement within FBR from policymakers to field operations staff. Who is to be taxed and how much, sectoral analysis is required. There's poor state of data in FBR. However, people from FBR like Dr. Nadeem told us that they are going for full tax, full refund policies, as tax exemptions are not enhancing investment and the cost of presumptive and zero taxes is very, very high. There is crony capitalism and elite biased in tax policy. This country is low compliance country. FBR is short-sighted, does not take into account long-run perspective, and there is a need for collaboration with academia on issues like taxes. Tax centers can be established. From session 2, our key takeaways are that the policy is completely off track, not opening up, hence we are not integrating well. There are pseudo taxes also, like withholding, etc., other than customs that are impeding growth. Inter-industry argument has failed. Effective tax rates are pretty high. Reliance on domestic taxes is required rather than only on international taxes. Agriculture, health, industrial, all policies should integrate to achieve the objectives.
To go through this session as a wrap-up, the first presentation by Dr. Jawad basically shed light about the progress, especially what's happening in the FBR from a very tech-based perspective. And the context was basically that it's a kind of a win-win situation because it helps both the tax administrator and those which are basically engaged as the taxpayers. And they have already done certain experiments on certain issues such as track and trace system related to the tobacco, and hopefully it is going to be taken to the other sectors as well. And in the end, he talked about the future roadmaps related to the data warehousing, data sharing, and other perspectives. In the next session, we had Karelia, which rightly talked about how the IT-based compliance can help us both from the control perspective and the facilitation perspective. And then she talked about how the FBR is going on with certain reforms and how it is helping to achieve this objective. And then the third presentation was basically about the tax administration from Dr. Mohammad Ashfaq, and he very rightly pointed out the context of administration from the historical perspective, starting from the policy-induced drags on the administration and the multiplicity of the tax laws and the non-adequate number of the tax administrators within the system, how basically that is creating a drag in terms of the policy. And finally, the point which he made was that the crisis in terms of the external side, the balance of payment, is somewhat also to do with the weak tax administration. So that is something which we can really work on. The last presentation was from Dr. Ikram, which talked about again having a national tax administration setup, and for that the law clearly spells out the procedures under which a unified tax system, tax group can be created, which can basically facilitate all the tax administration and policy perspectives. Thank you.
Let me just say quickly in conclusion, all that I heard today convinces me of something very important. At heart lies our system of administration. It is not that the people are tax cheats. I resent it when we are told we are not compliance country, we are tax cheats. I think the biggest petition to the Supreme Court master. ask them to tell everybody you said there is no tax, no tax. What I've heard here is that our systems are not working. There is no data integration. There is no desire on the part of anybody in the system to learn. Right? They tell me that they are fragmented. They tell me they don't share data. They tell me they have no research. All the research is outsourced. And their outsourced researchers don't show up to talk to the local people. So it's a bizarre system on which we are just blaming the people for the failure of the system. And this goes back to my friend, which unfortunately the task force is not able to do. I think that's where we are, that we need to build better systems in government rather than blame the people. Because the systems in government are failing, people are right to take out the money from the banks because they do not understand what's happening. We have to communicate with the system. The research that you never have in the fund, we use to sensitize and teach them. And tax administration, etc. Then you communicate with the people, take them on board, build ownership. If we are not doing that, don't blame the people. Blame us, ourselves, we are not making good policy, we are not attracting good people. Well, this is what I summary can say, and inshallah we will do another session on many of the things that we think of. Thank you very much all for participating. Please and so many people.